matches invigorate.
Sitting on the casting couch is two of the sport's greatest. Side by side, to my left, the one and only Bryan Bickell, everybody. Bryan, how you doing tonight?
Yeah.
Good to see you. And sitting next to Bryan Bickell, Kevin VanDam. Kevin,
Oh, my goodness.
how you doing tonight?
Man, I'm digging the seeds.
You like the seeds?
If they don't sign up, it's a bad deal. We got to have them as a full-time sponsor.
All right, listen to this. Bryan,
the big
you hear
seeds
this?
are good. These are good.
These are big. The big seeds are big tonight.
Dill pickle.
Dill pickle.
I mean,
wasabi.
that's my favorite.
Lots
Wasabi's
of flavors.
good.
The Old Bay is one of my favorites.
It's good stuff.
Great sunflower seeds. Guys, thank you for coming tonight. Dave, thank you for coming. Kevin, how are you going to fish the river tomorrow? What's your strategy?
Well, based on my experience last time where I caught one bass in 2 days, I'm going to try to pay less attention to that tide. When it's dead low is the only time that I know that I can possibly maybe get a bite. Beyond that, I'm going to go and try to hit anything that I didn't fish before. But no, I know I actually had a pretty decent practice, but that 7-foot tide swing is just, the windows are so small.
And we saw that the other day. It's so small. Yeah.
15 minutes goes by and your day's done. If you miss that window, and it's hard. So I'm going to go out and have fun. I know whoever that I end up getting paired with, we're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
I'll be flogging, fishing everything that I know. But I didn't go practice. I didn't, do anything. Although I might check his GPS later for some of the spots you guys fish because
you're welcome to follow me to every one.
All those spots are terrible.
I want to go to one of those community holes. I want to see if I can be part of that community.
You're not part of the community.
I want to see if we can be part of it.
Hey, come on, you two, just hug right now.
Yeah.
Come on, stand up.
Oh,
hug.
heck yeah.
Look at this. We are making love here. No, well, not really that, but we are making. We'll be back in 2 and 2.
I love man hugs, by the way.
They totally didn't. They just. It's just for TV. They were kicking the crap out of each other down by the lake 3 minutes
I know. Look
ago.
at my knuckles; they're still all beat up.
Right? Yeah.
Kevin, I want to throw it to you. You've been on Ike Live a bunch, and the last time you were on, it was a big win off Toledo Bend, and we talked a little bit about how a lot of guys. Kevin's, he's washed up. Guy's writing you off.
Never gonna win again.
Never going to win again. Dude, you're at number 3 now this year.
In the last 4 events.
In the last 4 events. 2-part question. What happened? What's the change? And do you want to just give everybody the middle finger and say, ha?
It's crazy because I'm not doing anything different.
You're not, are you?
No, you don't. You just... it's tough out there.
Yeah.
And you just go out every time. I'm trying to win, and I didn't think that I was doing anything different or just stuff wasn't falling into place or whatever. And then all of a sudden it just goes like that.
Yeah.
So Toledo Bend, that one felt really, really good for sure. But once I got started in that, I knew I'd have a good shot. When I went to Cayuga, I really, didn't go into that tournament thinking that it was going to turn out the way it did. But after the first day of practice, I knew. What I saw, that's one of the best fisheries.
Yeah, it's loaded.
You love it.
Yeah.
I know. We love the northern fisheries. And when I saw the smallmouth doing what they were doing, a lot of them still spawning, and the way the largemouth were set up in the north end of the lake, I literally had no idea what to do the first morning because I had so many fish found and so many good patterns going, so many areas that I didn't know where I really wanted to start.
Right.
So it's rare that you have that happen, and for it to work out like it did, going in the final day, I really didn't think I had a chance, unless I just had an unbelievable day, and I didn't. And then to come away there with a win, it was a shock. That one right there fell into my lap for sure.
Well, we had a lot of fans of the show write in through social media, and they're like, God, Kevin won doing stuff that he's not that aren't his strengths. And I saw you hopping around a lot. You were kind of
we fished a lot.
Yeah,
close to
you
each
were
other
mixing between it. Does it feel weird going into a tournament where you're not fishing your strength, or do you try to just fish what they want?
Well, I think, you and I fish amazingly alike. I mean, we love to power fish.
Yes.
I mean, I would say both of us are at our most confident when we can throw something, a crankbait or a spinnerbait or fast-moving bait. But I've seen, the last couple of years, you're throwing a wacky rig and a, drop shot and a lot of finesse stuff that it's just what you have to do now in this day and age. As good as the competition is, you got to maximize every spot that you have and timing and that. And I've learned the same way. I mean, I'm not stupid. I watched B. Height 2 years ago in the Classic throwing a nail-weighted worm in 50 foot of water and killing them, with a Senko. And I started, I learned a long time ago that when something new comes out, you got to experiment with it. So, like, the first time I saw a Sluggo, I'm like, there's nothing going to bite that stupid thing.
Sluggo.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I put that on a tear, after I saw it in the water. So I learned the hard way that you got to embrace some of this new stuff. But I can't do that. I mean, I threw a wacky worm a bunch up there, a wacky rig, Strike King, Ocho.
Yeah.
For me to do that, I got to know that I'm going to get a bit, pretty often.
Yeah.
And so that was hard to do, but it just under those conditions, that's the only way you could get bit.
It's hard to slow down. It's hard to slow down.
Since I'm Pete, Kevin, let me ask you a question.
Pete, tight.
How much did Wheeler motivate you? How much did that event
Wheeler
help the last three events?
Wheeler, well, you know what? In this business, you better have an extremely short memory because what's in the past is in the past. But I'm going to tell you that one hurt because I knew the pattern that I was on. I was fishing offshore structure, deep fish, and I didn't have a bunch of areas where they were at, and I caught them the first day. But it was just very, it was. I knew it was really going to be really finicky. And the second day, it was horrible. I had like one of the worst days of my career, just how things went down that day. Just not capitalizing on the few opportunities that I had.
I talked to you that night.
Oh, it was,
and that's why I asked that question because
it killed my soul.
You could hear it in your voice.
I don't get pissed like that often.
That's exactly the word.
Was. But you know what? It doesn't matter. You go out there with a game plan to give yourself the best chance to win. And I knew I could go there and probably have a decent finish throwing a shaky head down the bank on the lower end of the lake. But I knew after practice to have a chance to win that I kind of had to roll the dice. And it worked the first day, and the second day it fell apart, and I stuck to my guns, and it just didn't happen. But I can tell you the third day at Toledo Bend, I caught 5 bass all day. They weighed 25 pounds,
wow.
But I stuck to my guns to the bitter end. I caught my last one with like 5 minutes before I had to go in. So, I mean, it could have easily been the same thing there. If you don't, you got to trust your gut, and you got to take chances, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it don't. And you have to be able to suffer the consequences. But the tough deal for our sport right now is if you want to be in contention for Angler of the Year, you can't fish like that. You can't take those big risks. You can't afford. I finished 90th something at Bull Shoals and 70th or whatever at Wheeler. You can't have those kind of finishes. That's why I'm not contending right now for Angler of the Year. I'm 100 and something points back. But if I'd have laid up and finished 50th in both of those, it would be a whole different scenario for the rest of the season. So,
are you fishing different at this stage in your career? 10 years ago, would have you fished more conservatively?
Absolutely. When I first started, I got into this run where I was getting a check every tournament, and it's like the Bassmaster media was like, yeah, he's had so many in a row where he hasn't missed a check. So in your mind, you're like, boy, I got to go out there and make sure I got a limit first. I want to make that 50 cut. That doesn't really matter anymore. I want to try to be in contention to win, and you have to you have to practice a little bit differently. You have to approach these events a little bit differently. I mean, the competition's never been better, and it's never been harder. So to say that I'm doing anything any different, it's not. I mean, the last 4 years or whatever where I haven't won, I'm fishing the same way.
Same way, yeah. Cycles. It's all cycles.
Yeah,
comes and it goes.
I'm on a good cycle right now. I'm happy to be there. I can tell you.
I'd like to be on that cycle.
Yeah.
Hot, hearty, delicious, invigorating.